life lessons in the School of the Spirit. And one of those life lessons are to be real. Be real, look life in the eyes. You know, when my mom arrived home, she had no feeling in her left side, in her right side. And we need to be real about it, that it can come back and the life can come back in her. But the real thing is, if we're not going to exercise her, and if we're not going to make the brain understand that I still have an arm, I still have a leg, and exercise that, and giving new sounds to the brain, that part is going to stay dead. We need to build new paths to the brain and tell the brain, hey, this body still have an arm, and I can still use this arm. And this is why a little bit of movement are coming back. But if we just leave her on the bed and we just say, you know what? One day God is just going to raise her up. One day she's just going to stand. Do you think that's real? Can God do that? Yes, God can do absolutely anything. But the real thing is we need to exercise her body. We need to do something. If your clothes are lying on the floor, do you think you're going to go to class today and come back this afternoon and everything's just going to disappear back in your cupboard because you prayed when you walked out? You say, Jesus, clean up the room. Jesus, come through for me. Do you think if you're overweight, you're just going to pray and God is just going to melt everything away? Did you really think this is how Christianity works? Did you really think that you can have brokenness in your life and you can just shut that door and live on with your life and that's never going to come back to you? It's not going to come back in a form of sickness or brokenness or emotional instability. Did you think it's going to have no fruit in your life? You see, this is the thing of being real. I've seen many people get hurt because this is the situation and they just don't face the reality of it. So for me, being real is part of who God wants us to be. This is a principle that we learn in the Bible. It's called, I just call it, and I like to call it that, the law of harvest. Proverbs 12 verse 11. It's actually basically saying that people who work toward their goals and their dreams will have abundance, but people who just dream would have nothing. And they are actually not real because they haven't planted anything. Now they want an harvest. So you think your dream alone is a seed? The word says faith without works are dead. So you need to get up from your chair and do something. You can't sit on that chair and think, well, I have faith, so it's just going to fall on my lap. This is not real. God is asking of you to stand up and do something. It's the law of harvest. So when I think it's not difficult for farmers to explain this to them, you won't expect them to have a great harvest by just sitting next to the field and looking every day to the field and just blessing the fields. This is a wonderful field and look at the great harvest that this field is going to produce. And you plow. This is what they have to do. They plow, they plant, and you know what? They take their money and they buy the best cultivar seed that they can get because they want the best harvest. So they had to plow, they had to clean the land. And then after they cleansed the land, they put in this seed of faith. So after they did that, they fertilized and they water and they pray for rain and they water whatever they planted. And this is where we start blessing and speaking life. And then what comes out are fruit. The farmer did their part and have faith that God will do his part. So God likes to work through us and with us and not for us. God is for us, but he works with us. And we together take his hands, and we are his hands, and we are his feet here on earth. So for me, it's a lifelong partnership, we and God. So plowing is labor, and in labor, we need his strength. Pursuing, hard work, and we find our strength in him. So planting is a depositing, and you can't deposit anything with nothing. We need a seed. So sometimes God says, just bring me your heart. Just bring what you have. Just come by faith. But you have to bring something. You see, if you want to bake a cake, you need substance. And our faith, that's the substance. But then God says, your faith need to get up and do something. I can't just sit. And in this process, God discipline us. God train us. And finally, we reap. So reaping is receiving the harvest that God has prepared for us. And this is when you achieve your comeback and he reveals what is just beyond it. So God always turning us to bigger and better things. And you will never stay in a place, at one place, if you partner with God. You know why? He's going to take you through all the seasons. He's going to take you through the whole process of cleaning the ground, planting, watering, harvesting. We need to learn to harvest. We need to learn to plant. We need to learn to clean up. We need to learn all those facets. It's like a child needs to learn how to lose, and we need to learn how to win. Sometimes people have never learned how to win, how to handle that. You need to learn to receive, but you also need to learn to give. This is the process of faith where God teaches all the facets of life. So don't feel sorry for yourself if you find yourself in this one or in that one. We need to cheer each other on in that. But if I see somebody sitting next to the field and there's just waiting, I'm saying this to you today. You need to get up. You need to get up. It's time for us to do something. Faith without works are dead. So God is waiting for us also to do something. We need to step out in faith, and this is when miracles happen. You need to clean your house to get free inside. You need to take this step of faith in every assignment that God gave you. You need to draw strength from him and in his abilities. And the things we do has to come from spending time with God, dreaming with him, and he gives us the ability to dream, but also to do. We can't sit and dream alone. So this is part of the school of the Spirit. We can talk and we can say, you know, when I realized I had this land and I thought God is going to do it, and one day he's quickly going to clean up this place and everything is going to be sorted out. Then he took me to the book of Deuteronomy where he says, no, not even going to do it in 1 year. I'm going to do it step by step. We're going to clean up this. You're going to clean it all up. You're going to make space for the seed. You're going to put the seed in. You're going to water it, and there's going to come up a new plant, and it's going to bring a new fruit. And only then I'm going to take the next step and the next step and the next step. And this is something I want you to know today. Many times people come for kingdom coaching and they want one session and they want everything done. It's not going to work like that. Life is a process. And I'm not saying you need me. We need God. But we need to go through the process. And yes, can God do anything? Can God heal like that? Can God clean like that? God can do anything. I'm just saying, in the school of the Spirit life, he loves to teach us all the facets. Because one day we're going to be confronted with many things. And then we need to know how to plow, how to sow, how to reap, how to bring in the harvest, because he's preparing us for an end time harvest. And this is the time that we are entering in. So use this day, and whatever is on your plate, do it. You and God. My dear friend, God's will, we speak tomorrow.